Hey everybody, so as promised I am going to talk about my microblading experience today. Sorry if I sound a little bit, down. I am just really tired, but I promised, so here we are. Okay, so what is microblading? Microblading is where a small handheld tool that contains about 9 needles is used to make incisions to leave semi-permanent pigment in order to make your brows look fuller. So basically it's a tattoo for your eyebrows because it is considered a cosmetic tattoo. So I got that done yesterday, and yeah, brows. Yeah, and I am very happy even with the initial results thus far. So yeah, now the time I spent in the salon, I probably was there for maybe 3 hours. Now 3 hours is not the time that it took to get this done. Let's be clear. The actual time that she spent doing the incisions, doing the microblading, was probably an hour and some change. You spend more time in prep and then post cosmetic tattooing, because even with the numbing cream, I think it's like Lipodane, do not quote me now, but the numbing cream that has to sit for like 30 minutes or so that's one thing. And then of course you come in, paperwork, all that great stuff. So then after like a soothing cream is put on your brows, and then that has to sit. So more time was spent sitting and prepping than actually getting the blade. Another thing that is part of the prepping process is a technique called mapping, and that is where, based off your conversation with your technician, they begin to map out the brows to prep for the microblading. So with like a surgical marker, you know how with plastic surgery they mark, okay, we're going to like lift the boob here, cut something here, so there are certain markings that they use to determine what needs to be done where. The same thing is done on your brows. And then also to test the color, to see what color is going to go best based off your skin tone and all of that great stuff. And you do have a say in that as well. So I told her I wanted a dark brown, and I went with dark brown. So mapping also takes a minute, because then you also have to have a conversation with your technician as far as what is your desired outlook after you go through the process, and they'll map based off that. Another thing that is part of the prepping process is a technique called mapping, and that is where, based off your conversation with your technician, they begin to map out the brows to prep for the microblading. So with like a surgical marker, you know how with plastic surgery they mark, okay, we're going to like lift the boob here, cut something here, so there are certain markings that they use to determine what needs to be done where. The same thing is done on your brows. And then also to test the color, to see what color is going to go best based off your skin tone and all of that great stuff. And you do have a say in that as well. So I told her I wanted a dark brown, and I went with dark brown. So mapping also takes a minute, because then you also have to have a conversation with your technician as far as what is your desired outlook after you go through the process, and they'll map based off that. One thing I wanted to achieve with my brows, I want them to be as natural looking as possible once everything is said and done. And I didn't want no Nike checks. And y'all know what I'm talking about, for those of you who know a little bit about makeup, blah blah blah. I know when eyebrows were a thing, it would be like bloom bloom, because they were really trying to get that arch. Because one of the issues I was having with my eyebrows was, one had a natural arch, and then this one right here was literally on the struggle bus, because I had a bad waxing experience, and this one was thicker and had the natural arch, and then this one, it was thin, the arch was almost non-existent. So I wanted them to be as symmetrical as possible. Now, we all know that our body is not completely asymmetrical, so your brows have to look more like sisters than identical. The thing I also did is that I provided pictures to my technician just to show her like, hey, this is, what I was eyeing because this is what I really like. And she used that as well on top of her expertise and thinking like, hey, we should do this versus this, and how about this? And so we had a conversation. It wasn't just like, okay, I'm just going to lay here and pray for the best. No, there was actually a discussion, because I also had a consultation with her. And then we also talked when I was physically present at the salon and was getting ready to do the procedure. So a conversation needs to be had. And also keep in mind that a microblading situation, it is more of an art. It is an art. It is not a science. So it may take a couple of sessions to get your desired look, and a true technician is going to tell you that. It is not always going to be bam, after the first session you're going to have what you want, because it's that we are really guilty of. We can really covet something else that somebody else has and that is truly for them, that was made for them, and it doesn't work with our body type, the shape of your brow bone and where it sits and all that, and then the natural shape of your natural eyebrows. And you really want your brows to look as natural as possible. You don't want to be looking surprised all the time. So that is something to consider as well. Now, we're going to get into the microblading process. Whew. Okay, so I mentioned the numbing cream. The numbing cream sits for like a very extended period of time. Now, one thing that freaked me out was the sound of the blade. You're going to hear it, period. There is no way of getting around it. You're going to hear the and I believe that is what freaks people out more than that. Sound will throw you off, so I will warn you about that. And a lot of people, they say that really is what throws them off, and then it gets into a mental thing. It's just like, oh, it hurts. No, honey, it's just the sound. So when she was in this area, it didn't really hurt. I didn't really feel anything. Of course, I felt her do this, because she has to spread your skin to get the perfect incision, and I felt the pressure of her hand laying against my face. But as far as actual pain, no. Now, honey, when we got to the front of these brows, that first one, I was like, oh, okay. But one thing about me, I am a little wimp. I do not like pain. I just don't. And I don't understand how, because I got all these piercings. But on the pain scale, for me, it was a 3 out of 10. So even towards the front, it wasn't that bad. Just a little agitating because you keep going. But still, through the process, numbing cream is constantly applied. And continuously having to wipe off the extra pigment and cleaning and sanitizing the brows throughout the entire process. Now, at this point, your skin is open, so you are going to feel those feel the chemicals from what's being applied, and then the fact that you have an open wound, you're going to feel it. Just like after you get a piercing or a tattoo, you feel like a little sting. That's going to be the same thing. It's no different. So that's another thing that I felt. But again, it wasn't bad. It was just like, oh, okay. After all of that was said and done, soothing cream was applied to my brows, and I just laid there. And then she showed me my brows, and I was like, oh, okay. Like, I actually look like somebody. Finally happy that I have brows, because again, this one was on the struggle bus, y'all. I keep telling y'all. So once she showed me my brows, I went on my way, of course, paid, and then went on my way. Now I have to go back for a follow-up in 6 to 8 weeks just to see how everything settled, see what's going on with the pigment, and then she's going to do any retouching if necessary. So that's what's going to happen in 6 to 8 weeks. But now, basically, I just can't get these wet. I can't work out. Feeling some type of way about that, but I cannot work out right now. Cannot get these wet. I have to apply a cream that she has given me twice a day to my brows, and basically keep them clean using Dove soap and then applying that ointment. So that is what I'm doing right now. I do that for 10 days and see where it goes from there. So in a nutshell, did it hurt overall? No, It really did not. It's more of the redness and the swelling. And then again, you have open wounds. So when things are being applied, you're going to feel it. Like when you have an open cut or sore and you put like your witch hazel, you're rubbing alcohol, it's just like, oh, a little sting. But no, there was no pain pretty much during the process. Again, when she got towards the front of my brows, felt a little something, but it wasn't like, oh my gosh, get me off the table now. I do not like pain. And for this process, I was just like, I psyched myself out for this. Really was not that bad. And for me to not have any tattoos and for the first tattoo to be a tattoo on my face, I really tickled myself, y'all. Yeah. I got a face tattoo. Don't mind me, I was just having a moment. But yeah, right now I am waiting for my technician to post like the official before and after pictures, because she took a picture right before the session and then took a picture right after. I'm waiting for her to post those so I can like share them with you guys, because I rather do that. I have a bunch of selfies, of course, where you could see my natural brows before and then you guys see the brows here now. So I might do that too, but I'm really waiting on those. Now, I went to tailor at the Lex Studio, which is in Augusta, if you're familiar with the area. So I went to Augusta, Georgia, and I saw Taylor, and she's the one that did my microblading. If you are looking into it, I suggest do your research, because that is what I did. I researched and researched and researched. Also looked at prices and things like that. And Taylor, I just felt like she was the best. And I went ahead and I went for it. Now here I am. And like I said, right now I am satisfied. Keep in mind that everything that I have expressed today has been my experience with this microblading process. This isn't Bible or set in stone or anything. This is my experience and how I took the microblading process. So again, as I have been saying, please keep in mind that you have to do your own research. And just because it's cheap or cheaper does not mean that you are getting the most bang for your buck. Because people are known to do botch jobs, just like there's botch plastic surgery, same thing. So research your technician, look at the reviews, ask them questions, ask them every single question possible that you can think of. And when you feel right, you feel comfortable, then you can proceed forward. But if something's not right, don't go with it. Trust that energy, trust that intuition, sis. Like, come on, it's 2020. We got this. That has been my experience. I hope that answers a majority of y'all's questions. Again, do your research. And it doesn't hurt, you guys. If you can get tattoos, you can take one to the face, I feel. Go for it. I am very thankful for this process because, honey, doing my brows when I would do my makeup, I would be on the struggle bus. And I'm pretty sure Mickey, I love you, Mickey, my favoriteest makeup artist on the planet, I believe she might be somewhat thankful for the assistance when she does do my brows. Oh my gosh. So yeah, I really did enjoy the process. Super, super excited. So we're going to see, I'll probably do like a daily snap talking about this healing process. And then, of course, I'll keep y'all followed up on the retouch. I think that's it for now. All right. I love y'all. Peace.